Good afternoon. Today is the 9th day of November 2016, and we are back with Shyam Kumari, namaskar, for interview number 4. And today is a very special one because she's going to share her letters to Mother and Mother's responses to her, and then afterwards get into all of her writing and the many books that she's written. So please tell us something of your correspondence with Mother.
Last time we finished that I came here in 1960 thinking that Mother has accepted me. When I arrived here, Ganpatram told me Mother has said, let her come, then we will decide. So he didn't write it and I thought I had been accepted. Anyway, I lived here. It was just like heaven for me. It was heaven, El Dorado, everything together, all that can be beautiful. And then after 1 month, I as usual, as the year before, I took 10 or 12 hours work with Ravinji. And after 1 month, because they were expecting me back at home, I never told that I'm never returning, and that was good because I had to return. So I asked Ganpatram to ask the Mother to give me permanent work. And then Mother said, her heart is so developed that she is ready to take up yoga, but she needs more experience. I was shattered and I wrote a letter to the Mother pleading that she should to keep me. And I said all the wrong things. Why I don't want to go back. I didn't say that why I want to stay, that I love her, that it is the place where everything will be accomplished. I always wanted the world to be perfect. And by coming here and reading a little of Sri Aurobindo, I came to know that how about the supramental power, the supramental perfection, the glorious future awaiting humanity I had hoped. Though now I'm not so certain that humanity is going to be a part of the new world, as Nalini said. So I wrote to her all the why I don't want to go back. And that was my mistake. And she wrote me a letter, which I will read out to you. It is not from disgust for life and people that one must come to yoga. It is not to run away from difficulties that one must come here. It is not even to find the sweetness of love and protection. For the divine's love and protection can be enjoyed everywhere if one takes the right attitude. When one wants to give oneself totally in service to the divine, to consecrate oneself totally to the divine's work, simply for the joy of giving oneself and serving without asking for anything in exchange except for the possibility of consecration and service. Then one is ready to come and will find the door wide open. I give you the blessings given to all my children wherever they are in the world and tell you, prepare yourself. My help will always be. My help will always be with you. So heartbroken, like a rudderless boat, I went back. And then I thought for 5 years I denied my husband a child, saying I am not well. How long I can deprive him of his right? So we had this child. My son was born, and after he was born, I think in the first interview I told you about, we had a dacoity at our
Yes, you told that.
Huh? So at that time we had, mother was guiding and asking us to do this, that. And then my husband was transferred to Lucknow. Now another big step with the mother's help. As I told you in the second interview, I was only a graduate. Now Lucknow is a university. It was a dream town for me because it has best gardens in UP and it had so many libraries. I became a member of 5 libraries. Kim was 8 months old when we went to Lucknow, and I thought I will join the university. If you remember, one Mr. and Mrs. Maheshwari, through them I came to the ashram.
Yes, you told that story. Yes.
So he got transferred to Lucknow as finance secretary, government of UP, quite a high post. And I worshipped his wife. That's why I wanted to run to the ashram in the very beginning. So I told her that I am going to. As soon as I went, I joined French classes of the university. That was 1 hour, 1 hour, 3 weeks. And when she came, I said, next year I am going to join the master's class. Now she told me, look, mother, after your marriage, after 9 years, now you have a son. And mother doesn't like children to be left alone with servants. And you want to go and study and in the university and leave him at home with servants. So I was quite perplexed. And I wrote the mother a letter asking her, Mother, what should I do? Mother, if I go to the university, my heart reproaches me that you are neglecting your child for your ambition. If I do not, my mind reproaches me that you are being lazy. Mother, please you decide whether I should study or not. And if yes, please choose this subject. And I enclosed a list of subjects and received her telegram, Mother's blessings for Hindi MA. The telegram, that and another telegram is still with me. They are as fresh as if they were typed yesterday. Because in those days, telegrams were typed on a piece of paper in thick ink and they were pasted and then sent. So they are just as bright as they were then, those telegrams. If you want, next time I can bring.
We should show them, yes.
I will bring. So, with mother's blessings, I plunged headlong into studies and I don't do things by moderation. I'm not a moderate person. So I was studying 10, 12 hours a day and I was tested at every step because my son Kim broke his leg just before my examination of MA previous. And many other difficulties came, and Lucknow being capital of UP, so many relatives came, there were so many family responsibilities. But anyway, my husband fully supported me. That way he was a great person. He said, whole of your life you were complaining, whole of life means married life, that I have not completed my education. Now I have got this university city. Later on I may not get any such posting because being an engineer he was posted to dam sites.
Then what happened next? What happened next?
what
How
happened
did you
next?
come here? Tell that.
So I studied, and in final I got second position in among 100 students of my class. And when Kim, my son Kim, was 3 years old, I waited for him to be 3 because mother didn't receive children below 3.
Yes, yes.
So we came here, we went to her, she wrote on her photograph Kim. That's the name she gave. And she gave the significance, questioning mind and seeking of heart. It's a Sanskrit word meaning what? Kim. There is a humorous aside. When I was pregnant, I knew I was going to have a son, and later mother will give a name which will get me into trouble. So everyone thought that Kim was Kim Novak, Kim O'Hara, it's a foreign name. And they would tell me, why did you give an English name to your child? So that's just an aside. So when he was, I didn't know that I have to ask the mother again, keep me here. And actually my son, my husband brought me here because we had first gone to Calcutta and Darjeeling, and Kim got fever. So he came and left me here.
What year?
That was 64.
64.
Kim was 3. And then I didn't ask mother again. I didn't know the ways of the ashram at all. I thought she will say, now you don't go back. She didn't say, so I went back. Then again in 1966 I came. And there is a small story of mother and Kim. Kim was very much afraid of the sea.
You told that story already.
Huh?
Yes, I remember, yes.
Mother said, sea
Yes,
is
yes.
nice, sea is good, don't be afraid of
yes.
sea. At 7:30 at night he went to the
Yeah,
sea.
you told.
Then I went back again. In 1968, all these years, I lived as if I used to think it was most beautiful city I had lived in, most cultured, with most libraries and most opportunities for studies which I utilized. But yet I felt away from the ashram that Sita must have felt like this in Ravan's Lanka. Nothing seemed worth living for. Anyway, I went on studying. Then I passed my MA. I asked mother again, what should I do? This, that, that. Again, she sent a telegram, mother's blessings for Hindi research on Kabir's poetry. It is one of the options I had submitted to her. MA in English literature or French or Hindi PhD. And then my husband was transferred from Lucknow. We went to another city, Gorakhpur, which is where Sri Aurobindo had once gone. And this city is really, it was terrible. Mosquitoes that size that as if they will eat you. But spiritually very great, because Guru Gorakhnath had lived there, all that sect. Then Hanuman Prasad Ji Poddar was there, whose meeting I mentioned last time. So from there, on one trip, I came to my parental place, and where my younger sister, who was like a daughter to me, and who had become a disciple of the mother. She had never been here. She told me there is a Sri Aurobindo center here in Muzaffarnagar. Because my connection had developed through Mr. and Mrs. Maheshwari, I didn't know of there. So both of us, she took me there. And Sri Aurobindo has said there is nothing like chance. But I will use the word chance for a better word, or by divine arrangement. She took me there, and that evening, a Parsi devotee of Mother who was going from center to center was there. It was 68, and he said that Mother is very, very ill. I didn't know that. And I was shocked to the core. And I told my sister Ela, Kim was in his school. He was 7.5. So I cannot abruptly take out of the school and go. I cannot tell them that I am leaving forever this time. But I decided if Mother doesn't accept me, I will live on the road outside the ashram. I will send Kim to an orphanage. But Sri Aurobindo has left his body. If Mother does that, well, I wouldn't get even a day to serve my Guru. So I told my sister, and she said, I want to come with you forever to the ashram. So in December, I went back to my parents' place and told them that I am taking my sister for winter vacation to my house. And from there, during Kim's winter vacation, we came here. On the way, Kim brought his books. He was 7.5, and my school opens in January first week. We must return and all that. By the time we reached Chennai, we were telling him softly, let us, you study in ashram school. In Chennai, he entered the Mother's atmosphere. And he said, yes, I will study in the ashram school. We didn't know that ashram school opens on 16th December. Nobody is ever taken in mid-session. Didn't know anything. We came here on 24th December Eve and were
68, 1960,
8.
68.
Yes. And all three of us were accepted by Mother on 22nd January. And Kim was admitted to school on 22nd January, and myself and my sister, we were both appointed teachers in ashram school. And there was such a buzz in the ashram that Mother has taken a UP boy in the middle of the session. But this was due to Kim's letter to the Mother. When Ganpatram told us that nobody is taken in the middle of the session and you admit him to an outside school. It was an impossibility. I knew my parents, my husband, all will be coming, and unless Kim is in his school, there is no way we can stay here. So Kim wrote to the Mother, Mother, you must admit me. I am late for there and I will be late for here too. The Mother accepted us on 22nd December. So, to belong to Sri Aurobindo and Mother, this was the greatest facility. We came here, we joined, and then the most fruitful time in the school happened when, about that I have told in the first interview.
Yes.
When we started knowledge through meditation. And this is very precious. If you want, I will bring next interview. We wrote 9 letters from our class to the Mother.
Yeah.
And
This
that
you told in the
Huh.
second interview. So maybe you could tell more about, did you have your interviews with Mother when you went before her?
I had a few, 2 or 3 interviews with the Mother. When I came to her, he just prostrated at her feet, and she had to bend down to touch his head. And once I told the Mother that, Mother, my mind is never quiet on my birthday. And she laughed, and that laughter went right up to the end of the universe, I think. Its ripples. Later on, I read in the, Loretta has done these 2 selections. There's something Mother said, that she can create conditions conducive to achievement, but she cannot give directly, some such thing, from which I understood. I was hoping she will just keep her hand on my head and it will go quiet. The thoughts, it didn't happen. But we were writing very often to her because we were in great trouble. Anyway, I will tell you about my French lesson and her answer. So, all teachers here have to learn French, especially those in the primary section, because in kindergarten only French and Sanskrit is taught. There was a French lady, mother had named her Yatanti. We, three or four teachers whom mother accepted in 68, we were the last batch. After that, no one was accepted. 7 or 8 of us, 3 or 4 of us were in the school as teachers. So we became Yatanti's students. And I plunged in French studies. And I wrote a lovely letter to the mother. Dans une rivière bleue, rit des fleurs du flamme. In a blue river, laughed the flowers of flame. And Yatanti said, Mother said, Elle a écrit ça, elle a écrit ça. She has written this. She was very content. And when Kim wrote him a poem, wrote her a poem in French, she was still more happy because he wrote it in French. Yatanti said, because it is in French, elle était contente. Then my French was going on nicely, but I was having a terrible time physically here. So fell ill very often, was sent to hospital, and then I wanted to have mother's prayers and meditations in French and read it in French. I wrote a letter to the mother. Mother, je vais lire, relire et vivre les prières et méditations. And we found the last copy of that edition. And mother wrote blessings on it. And then I fell very ill and French studies went into background. I never went further in French. And then mother passed away. So, because we came in 60s, we were accepted 22nd January 69, and mother left her body in 73.
Right.
So the major contact was through the class letters, which she loved. She gave them great importance, as I told earlier. And even when there was a notice on the board, mother is not well, she will not see anybody, all interviews were cancelled, she would listen to our class letters and answer. That was the contact, and after that she left her body. Then we will come to our my contact with Amal Kiran. Being pushed from house to house, facing terrible hardships, ultimately my father, when my husband took divorce, because I didn't go even for one day after mother had accepted. So naturally, that's a humorous thing. I told him, send me photographs, I will ask mother to choose a wife for you. He was quite offended, but later on he remarried naturally. So when he remarried, there is a letter of something mother said, that's why I am telling. When he came here before remarriage, he wanted us to go back for one trip for a few days to save his face. And then he would say that I have left them in Pondicherry for my son's studies. And that society will understand. And here Kunuma said, mother has said your husband must say, pay alimony. We didn't know the meaning of the word alimony. We had to look up in dictionary. And I wrote a very passionate letter to the mother that you are Mahalakshmi. I am your daughter. Mother, why made me beg him? Mother was quite angry. She said, she has left him. He has not chased her out. She has no right to ask for anything. It was such a relief. I went to Kunuma. I said, you said mother has said I should ask for alimony. He said, oh, mother is generally in trance or eyes closed. We say something. If she doesn't say anything, we take it as yes. So that is how things were developing. But Nalita added when he gave me this message of the mother that if he gives anything for the child, it should be accepted. But that was not to be. There are several things here which mother said but didn't write. Would you like to hear that?
Certainly.
Achha. So what happened? That here is a funny story about one Asuric power in the ashram. Sri Aurobindo has said, Nalita has published in his book, Sri Aurobindo has written, most of my disciples are Asuras. The greater the disciple, the greater the Asura. And I fell into the clutches of quite a few Asuras. I will tell you two stories. So, one of these Asuras, when we came here, we didn't bring even a pillow or a mattress because we get in the train everything. And here, I thought everything is provided. I didn't know that prosperity and things are given after 1 year. So we were both sleeping on the ground. And I had bought 1,000 rupees or so. So this lady with 3 mattresses. Now this is quite funny. Pondicherry mattresses are very thick, 20 kilos or so of cotton. It's not like UP, North India, where cotton is fluffed and a mattress might be 2 or 3 kilos. Here 20 kilos, ashram mattresses. So this lady told me that ashram gives mattresses after 5 years. So I don't return my mattress, old mattress. And she knew that we are supposed to return and take new one. So she has a wedding of 3 mattresses. And she advised me quite coolly, and I accepted that you go during Kim's vacation and bring a mattress from your home. A mattress costing 100 rupees, and for that to go 1,000 kilometers. And she made a fool of me, and she never offered one mattress at least for this child who was so delicate. She was one of the most delicate children. Why I remember your plumeria? Because I was an exceptional gardener. I was a very successful, passionate gardener. So I had a lawn 6 inches thick, and my son never stepped on that without shoes and socks. If anybody, a child slapped another child, just that was enough to give him fever. He never quarreled with anybody. For 8 years, he had never seen a film. These are all things connected with the mother. That's why I am telling.
Yes.
Because in the film, at least in joke, there is a slap or two. And that would make him ill. So he never saw a film. In those early days, 50 years back, there were few places in India which showed foreign films, English films. Lucknow was one of them. And there was a very early film, those magnificent flying men in their magnificent machines. Do you remember?
Yes.
Those early planes made of cardboard, etc. We thought at least that he will enjoy. But in that, those paper planes, they were falling. So he requested, I beg you with folded hands, Mummy, Papa, take me home. So I'm bringing mother things here. So when he came here, children used to be quite excited about the next day's film. And they would mob Wilfie, who was in charge. And Wilfie would tell them with big eyes about the next day's film. And they were so proud. Came to know first what film is being shown. These were the things. And Kim could not participate in them because he couldn't see films and I had nobody here. I could not leave him alone. So he didn't see any films. So one Saturday, he wrote a letter to the mother. Mother, I cannot bear sorrow and violence, especially in films. Mother, what should I do? So Saturday morning we gave Amrita this letter. And Saturday there is film. Evening we went to his office and he said, Mother has said, it's not necessary to see films. Just this one. So in those days films have some trailers of other films in the beginning and who the names, etc. And those Kim would see. And from there, after dining room, after seeing the trailers, we would go home. That day, they showed the most bloody Second World War film of those days, the Battle of Bulge.
Oh.
Remember?
Yes.
And as usual, we saw the trailers and mother's word were there. It's not necessary to see film. And after that, Kim said, I want to see a little more. I was so glad because this is the film I had asked mother. I will tell you that a small incident. So he saw the whole film. And from that day, the bloodier, the better. Mother, with one sentence, took away his fear. Mother has said that all sincere aspirations are fulfilled, sincere prayers. When I came here, I prayed to her disinterested prayers, she has said, all sincere, disinterested prayers. So I prayed to her. In those, now these films will seem dated, but then they were the best. Guns of Navarone, The Train, and Battle of Bulge. I had seen them in Lucknow and I prayed to the mother, Mother, please your children should get to see them. Within 1 year, all the three came. Any small thing I prayed to her. I said I fell into the clutches of Asuras. So I had 103, 104 fever for 20 years. And I was working 18 hours a day. So I could drink only water stored into old pots. In new earthen, mother gave earthen pots to store water. You know that?
Yes.
You have seen them. Mm-hmm. So I borrowed, if my old earthen pot broke, I borrowed neighbors' old earthen pots. Because you can't buy old earthen pots. Because I had always 103, 104 temperature. So one day I thought, in ashram, school, you have seen we have a cement filter. Mm. And the water was quite warm. That was good for me. But I said, Mother, children must be finding it very hot. Why don't you give them a cooler? In my heart, I used to talk with her. And within 1 week, dining room, bought a new cooler and gave that one to the school. Even more miraculous things, childish things happened. When I was a child in my school, there was a realization tree. Its branches came up to the side and they used to touch our cheek and very soft touch. I said, Mother, your children had never had this joy. And within 1 year, somebody had planted a realization tree in the school and its branches came down. At least they touched my cheeks. I don't know of other children. And it broke. Shiabindo has written somewhere, she has a ear to your nonsense also. I have seen such simple, disinterested things she granted. So these things went on happening. And then she left her body. And we were being that lady of 3 mattresses. She made us so afraid that ashram is so poor that at night myself I would switch off the lights to save current. And our bill was 4 rupees. And she herself had asked mother to give her 4 oranges a day. So we were sitting in the dark and talked. We didn't switch on the light. And we had no mattress. Now, this is very important how mother saved me from that asuric power. So I decided, all right, I will first think the husband whom I have left, why would he allow me to take mattresses or things? And the fare itself would be 20 times more than the mattress. But I was so stupid and under her spell. So she told me. Then my husband came here and he requested me, you come once. And that will save my social prestige, as I said just now. And he bought a ticket for me. And my son would remain in the boarding. And he went to participate in a conference in Calcutta. Luckily, he didn't take me. This is how mother saved me. My ticket was booked. Kim was to be shifted to a hostel for 15 days. And then everyone who went away, they went to mother for pranam. I asked permission for pranam. Madhav said, Pandit told me, why do you want to go? What will happen if you don't go? Because mother has accepted us through Mother Pandit. So I said, if I don't go, he has promised to give some money. I think it was 200 rupees a month. He will not give that. Mother Pandit said, money or no money, mother doesn't want you to go, Shyam. I thought, Mother Pandit, how does he know what is in mother's heart? He may be wrong. So when I asked him, you asked for permission. He came down and told me, mother has said, pranam is not necessary. And that was like a big blow because everyone went. And I sat in the meditation hall. This is how mother saved me. And from there, at once I went to Atelier. You know Atelier? And there those people go regularly to Chennai. And I gave them the ticket and said, can you return it for me? And they said, yes, somebody is going tomorrow. And the ticket was returned. And I was saved. And I never left Pondicherry even for a day till now in 48 years. So this lady, she was an instrument of Asura. She made us go hungry. She wouldn't think that a child needs a mattress who had lived in so much comfort. So many things she did to us. This was ashram. But how mother saved by just one word. Pranam is not necessary. And if I had gone there, they would have chained me. Impossible to come. So now the class work started. Then ultimately when my husband remarried and I was beaten by a landlady and all sorts of such things happened. Ultimately, because my husband remarried, my father made me a house here. Since then, I am living in that house quite reasonably safe. So, that is 79 we shifted to that house. Nalnida gave, you want to know things about Nalini also.
You've told a lot in the first interview.
The
You
three
told
names he
many
gave.
things about Nalini. So
The names
if
he
it's
gave.
something different, I don't know. You
Acha.
can share
Anyway.
it.
And mother shifted Amal to a house around the corner, 1 block from my house.
Ah,
And in between, before mother leaves her body, I had arbitrarily decided I want to read everything I can read. I'm not going to write anything ever. But in spite of that, I wrote 9 poems in English. And one day, I wrote them in this notebook and gave it to Nalida to take to mother. Mother had written blessings here, which has vanished. Many of her things have faded. So this notebook was sent to her. And one day, Amal was sitting in the ashram, and I put this notebook in his lap without saying a word. I had met him earlier, 20 years before, as a visitor in 59. Somebody took me to meet him for a few minutes. So now I put this in his lap. He wrote a comment on every poem and wrote a note, Shyam Kumari, surely you are a poet. And that started our contact, because I passed in front of his house at least 6 times a day to dining room and back, and sometimes meditation days 8 times a day. And he started publishing these poems. First one was published in 78 December, The Hush. And then I started writing 4 poems a day.
I think we should take that up next time about your poetry and your writing. That would be wonderful.
Yes.